Hi viewers, welcome to the Grammar Channel. Today we are going to learn about a poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. This poem was written by Stephen Spender, born on 28th February 1909, was an English poet, novelist and essayist who concentrated on themes of social injustice and the class struggle in his work. Introduction. An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum, written by Stephen Spender, is a poem about the children who live in a slum. The poet describes the harsh living conditions of the poor kids. He also talks about the lack of opportunities from which they are betrayed. The difference between the education institutions of the higher class and the lower class people makes it very clear why the latter is lagging. A child's early years build the foundation of the future. An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender is a poem about the condition of elementary schools located in slums. It throws light on the dark reality of poor students of slums. Now let's move on to the summary of the poem, An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. In this poem, the poet showcases the plight of the children studying in a slum school and the necessity to bring about a change in their lives. The poem begins with a boring sketch of the children sitting in the class. There is a tall girl sitting in the class whose head is bent down due to illness and exhaustion. The poet observes a skinny boy, thin like paper, whose eyes seem scared and hungry like that of a rat's. Another boy with a deformed body who appears to have inherited his disease from his father is sitting at his desk. On the last bench, a sweet-looking yet unnoticeable boy is seated. He watches a squirrel playing in its tree house and therefore appears disinterested in the class. The off-white and the foul-smelling walls of the class indicate the donations given to the school. Besides, there are pictures of Shakespeare, of a cloudless daybreak, of civilized cities having buildings with domes, of valleys, and of a big world map on the wall. However, none of these is of any help to these children living in slums. Their world comprises only what they are able to see from the window of their classroom. The view is full of despair, where their future seems blurred. They are confined to the narrow streets of the slum that is far, far away from the open sky and rivers. According to the poem, Shakespeare and the world map present a bad example to these children. The beauty and radiance of such things will only tempt them. Having no means to attain these, they will gradually be led to the world of crime. They spend their whole life confined in their cramped holes like rodents. The undernourished bodies of these children look like skeletons consisting of only bones. Their steel framed spectacles with repaired glasses make them appear like the broken pieces of a bottle scattered on stones. Since their whole life revolves around slums, the map to the future also seems bloated. He says that unless the world map becomes a window for these kids to explore the outside world and the windows that shut them up from the rest of the world are broken, their future will remain the same as their present. The poet pleads to help these children break free from their world, confined in their slums. He asks to show the children the green fields and to give them freedom to make their own world with proper education and guidance. The chapter highlights. This poem focuses on the theme of social injustice and inequalities. The poet presents the pathetic, miserable picture of an elementary classroom in a slum. These children have pale and lifeless faces. They look rootless weeds, like rootless weeds which are uncared, unwanted, with their disorderly hair torn around their faces. They are depressed and oppressed with the burdens of life and keep their heads down. They have stunted growth. They inherit the diseases of their father. Some of them do have dreams. A sweet young boy is sitting at the back of the dim classroom. He's dreaming of a squirrel's game in the trees and probably other interesting things. The walls are dirty and creamy, and on them are hung the donations given by the rich and also Shakespeare's portrait. A civilized dome found in the cities and valleys with beautiful flowers are also put up. The map on the wall shows the children the beautiful world outside, but for these children of the slum, it is just meaningless. The children studying in these schools do not have the means to go and explore the world. For them, what they see through their classroom windows, the narrow street, and the sky is the world. Shakespeare is wicked for them as he has written only about the rich, beautiful world, tempting them to steal. The map is of no interest to them because it does not reflect the world they live in cramped and dark lanes. Their lives start in darkness and ends in utter darkness. They are undernourished and their poverty has distorted their vision as they spend their whole time in foggy slums. The poet feels that the map which shows beautiful and exotic places should be replaced with slums as it is not the world they live in. Unless the governor, inspector, and visitor play a vital role in bringing about a change, their lives will remain in the dark. The slum children will be able to peep through the window only when the gap between the two worlds is bridged. They should break the barriers till they come out of the dirty surroundings, and their world should be extended into the green fields, green sands, and bright world. They should have the freedom of expression and their outlook be broadened. For only the educated and learned people can create history whose language has strength and power. The conclusion, the message we get from this poem. In the end, he pleads the privileged class to help the poor children grow, or else one day they will ruin their towns and cities. So, the poet gives a message of social equality, justice, and fraternity. He does not want the children to spend their lives in slums. He does not want them to adopt stealing and robbery for the sake of comfort. He desires that they may also get same opportunities which privileged class gets.